Welcome to the NAO Show. It is week 13 in review. 3 of the top 4 teams have clinched, and yes, I, the Prince, am here to humbly tell you that yes, one of those teams is SillyDilly. I know, everyone, all of our loyal fans are very upset right now, and we are here with you in heart. This is Tank Top Mike. Marky Mark is here too. We feel your pain. Don't we, guys?
Yeah. 3 spots are locked, but not where we finish. So it's a fun last week of the year.
Yep. Should be interesting, as I like to say.
Okay.
Interesting. All right, let's go. We gotta get this energy going, Tank Top Mike. Flex on these bitches. Let's go. All right, Marky Mark, what do we got?
Got to stay hydrated. Really, that's the most important thing.
All right, well, let's run down the scores here. Starting with the Pooh Crew, 164. SillyDilly, 146. So Dylan's voodoo didn't work on the poo-poo. He finally scored a respectable amount, but he couldn't overcome the Pooh Master General.
Hey, this was Silly's highest score of the season, actually. 145, yeah. But you do get
145.
You get one good week against Silly. I had my one good week, and then 2 weeks later I scored 103 points. So unfortunately for Ian, he used all his luck now, and then we're headed into the playoffs. So bad strategy, pretty boneheaded move, if you ask me.
Boneheaded move. Tank Top Mike's. It says it here first. All that hoodoo that he was doing in his bathroom with the freaking toilet bowl and his unmentionables trying to counteract SillyDilly's freaking bullshit of a lineup. It's going to come back and bite him in the playoffs now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, we keep calling for it, but he's up there. I thought he'd fall out and not make it at all into the playoffs, but he got that one.
Whoa.
He got that one last win that he needed.
It almost sounded like you were giving SillyDilly a compliment.
No,
I had to stop you from doing something as a travesty as that.
Yeah,
I'll stop short of that. When I see his points for, I'm just like,
yeah. Silly got more help in a third world
shaking my
country, so it doesn't really make any difference. It's
What'd you say, Mike?
Silly got more help in a third world country, going on. So it's over now. It's big boy fantasy time in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens.
It has been lucky though, man. Deontay Harris. Who's starting Deontay Harris? He's pressed into action because he had to, and the dude gets I think it was 17 points or something. I'm just like, man, he must be doing something right this year, man. He's living clean or something.
Yeah, it's 17.9 points.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, well, that tracks, right? Everyone thought that was going to happen.
I'm saying, man, he had to be in a pretty deep league to start Deontay Harris.
I'm still convinced that he put Deontay Harrison thinking it was Damian Harrison, just actually didn't know.
Yeah, running back.
I'm going to go with that too.
Could be. Now it makes sense. It's all starting to make sense.
I'm glad that Zach Ertz went to Arizona and turned out to be a really, really top-end tight end for SillyDilly. I'm real happy for that. Oh, wait, he only scored 1.5 points last week.
Yeah, he's fallen off a little bit. He was started out on fire. Looked like it was going to be his definitely his tight end one, but man, he's fallen off quite a bit.
Speaking of tight ends, the Pooh Crew, self-proclaimed, mind you, tight end, a little premature ejaculation on the Pooh Crew side. Frickin' Kelsey with 4.2 points, and where the hell has Darren Waller been all year? Oh wait, he's been hurt. Oh great. Cue Ian. My team's hurt. Blah blah blah. Who the heck cares? Everyone, even Goofy, has gotten hit with the injury bug this year.
Yeah.
So
I
act
find
accordingly.
I find it interesting that he traded for Montgomery and he's still benched. He's his playoff hero though, maybe. So the next 2-3 weeks we'll see him maybe. But
Yeah, actually, on a serious note, it's interesting that he played DK Metcalf over Montgomery.
yeah,
Montgomery has a better floor play right now, and DK's just been a shadow of a shadow this year with the crazy play of Russell Wilson. So it was interesting that he went with that matchup against San Francisco.
Yeah, he missed DK on a could have been a nice long play and missed him, and that's what I was saying last week. I think Russell's he's okay on the short and intermediate stuff, but the long stuff's just not quite there. Just sailing him. He's just sailing him. So yeah, good. Keep on starting DK, and let's hope that Russell keeps on playing inconsistently.
Yes.
All right. In other top 4 action, we have Tank Top Mike 117, Goofy Jace 114. Mike, I think you dodged a bullet here, and Goofy yet again starting the wrong defense, and looks like he's fallen out of the playoffs because of it.
Yeah, this one was a big story of defense because I had the Colts in originally. I had them in until Sunday morning, and yeah, it was probably Sunday around maybe 2 hours before game time. I thought, you know what, I like this Rams matchup. It almost cost me, and Goofy's defense decision cost him. So yeah.
Real quick, Sean, what do we say about tinkering with the lineup on Sunday
You
morning?
don't tinker with the lineup
No,
on Sunday morning.
Nope, I take extreme offense. I do not tinker. Nope, I had a tough matchup decision.
Mr. Tinker saying that he doesn't tinker.
No, I'm actually really offended here. I do not tinker. I make it a point to not tinker. I had 2 defensive matchups that had great matchups, and I needed to see what they were going to look like. That's not tinkering.
Mike, last year I had to tell you every Sunday to come off the ledge of tinkering.
Nope, I can look at. I'm serious. I'm offended. I look at my lineup every Sunday morning, but how many changes did I make Sunday morning? Give me a specific example of a Sunday morning change.
I think this year you've been a heck of a lot better about not doing it. But
No,
last year I feel like I always walking off.
I don't tinker. I look at my lineup. If you're not looking at your lineup Sunday morning, you're making extreme mistakes. I think
that's true.
So there you go.
Big facts.
There you go.
You're doing something right this year. You're 10-3, so whether you've been tinkering or not, it's working. So
I don't tinker. I just said it.
Okay, he doesn't tinker. We'll let him have this one, Sean.
All
Moving
right.
on.
Didn't take that mic all fired up.
Yeah, I know.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I felt bad for Goofy too because he, Philly against Jets looked like a really good matchup. Philly's got a good defense, but at 5 points as opposed to 17 for Dallas and Kansas City both. I mean, I played Dallas in another league. I felt confident with them. That might have been a good play, but man, I can't fault them for starting Philly against the Jets. It looked like it was going to be a good matchup.
I feel like that one was Goofy's son. Goofy's son had the Cowboys in, and Goofy was like, no.
We can't.
Listen here, son.
Go Cowboys. Yeah.
I'm actually, I feel bad for Goofy because I think he might have won if he played Mike Williams with Keenan Allen. And he's been riding this Mike Williams train all year. Do I play him or do I not play him? I think Mike Williams has become one of those fantasy players where you just throw him in your flex and you accept whatever happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was actually surprised to see he flexed Freiermuth. Flexing a tight end is, always a little questionable unless you have 2 top 5 guys, I guess. But
I wasn't surprised by Freiermuth. I was actually more surprised by Chenault.
Yeah, I too.
Chenault was my whoa, what are you doing? Because he hasn't done crap all year. And Freiermuth is the new Edelman of Pittsburgh. So Ebron of Pittsburgh. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would have started. I would have started Williams, but again, it's hard to fault him when you see what Williams has been doing. But I like him. I don't like. I wouldn't have liked him or Chenault, but I would have played him over Chenault probably. So Fryermuth, I'll give him a break on that because he'd been definitely on the upswing, and it was just a little bit of a setback for him. He had been putting up some pretty solid numbers.
Mike, how'd you feel about putting Cortland Sutton in your starting lineup?
No, pretty terrible. Felt pretty terrible about that.
That's the truth here on the NAO show. Tank Top Mike's gonna cut it to your reel.
Seems like
Yeah.
they're using him as a decoy or something. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They're using all their wide receivers as a fucking decoy.
Yeah, that
If you
one,
if you're not a running back, you ain't making points on this team.
as Ian would say, that came down to injuries, though. Like, yeah, Sutton was not anyone that I wanted to be putting in, so that was tough.
Yeah, definitely. I saw it in your lineup. I was like, ooh, I bet he putting that one in there. But looking down your team with injuries and how they are going, you didn't have any better options, my man.
Yeah, I'll take a little bit of luck at this point. I mean, I'm in the playoffs. I'm in a lock. I can't fall out, so I'd rather just get healthy this last week and we'll go from there.
Absolutely.
As a guy looking to get into the playoffs, you're going to be a tough out if your whole team is healthy. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it sounds like Kamara is going to be. He could have maybe played last week and they rested him, so it sounds like he'll be back. Sounds like Swift's injury isn't terrible, so I have I don't know if you guys know this, but Mike Gesicki's the top 4 tight end right now. So I'll
Top what?
Top 4.
Top 4?
So I'll have everybody, if assuming Swift and Kamara, actually do come back, I'll be fully healthy week 1 of playoffs. So bring it on.
Oh, that's exciting.
Bring it on.
Tank Top Mike is ready for the playoffs, Marky Mark. Let's move on before
One more quick point about week 1 of the playoffs. If I'm fully healthy, there's no need to tinker because my team's going to win.
Set it and forget it. That's
I don't know why you're talking about
Mike's playoff quote of the week.
I don't know why you bring it up. You don't tinker, so you don't need to bring it up.
I don't even need to.
All right.
I feel like I hit a nerve there. Go ahead.
Rounding out the top 4, we had the Fresh Prince losing.
Why you gotta say it like that?
Losing
That was
to the Tough Luck Kid, 145 to 135. So Sean, Dallas Goddard did his best to make me sorry for trading him to you, but my spicy meatball finally came through for me.
You do everybody else's like score and score, but you get to mine and you go score and you remind everybody that I lose. Thanks. I really appreciate that.
You were the top 4, so I had to give you a little love for being in the top 4, but I had to say that you lose this week. I don't know. Sorry if I hit a nerve.
No, you're not. You're not
We're
sorry.
just all
It's
hitting
fine.
nerves tonight, man. We're all feeling for nerves.
Everybody's riled up for the playoffs. Everybody's on edge. Everybody's ready to go. I gotta give us some love to your boy Kittle. I absolutely love that he waited all fucking year to have a Kittle game just to play against me when I needed a win.
Yeah.
I absolutely love him for it. So much that I tweeted at him and I told him, thanks for the great fantasy points. I really appreciate it. Ugh. And fucking Arizona, let's rest Kyler Murray for 5 weeks before Mark plays Sean, because they know, and then Kyler Murray's just going to be super rested and go get 30 points for it. Love it. Love it.
I have nothing further to add on this matchup.
Oh, okay. I was counting on some tank top love, but I guess not. So, guess I'll have to give it to myself. Yeah, Kittle. I think with Debo being out, Kittle's their top option now. That could be good
Also, I
moving
want to take
forward.
some credit for your win
You're gonna take some credit for the
because
win.
I made a little side comment last week on the show about
No.
playing both Elliott and Pollard, and Tony P came through for you.
Yeah.
He wasn't in your lineup until Saturday afternoon, I think.
He was in my
And then I was
lineup.
like, shit, I shouldn't have said anything.
He was in my lineup. He just wasn't in the top. He wasn't up in the running back spot, but I put him in there because he was playing Thursday. So actually, I hate that I was hoping they would just rest Zeke and I could make another start. It probably worked out all right for me, but I might have had Elijah Moore in there instead of Zeke, and I could have done even better. Yeah, but it worked out.
Could have won
I'm, I,
more.
yeah, I could have won. I could have won more. No, Sean could have lost more. Sean could have lost more. That's the order we're doing it in for this matchup.
I'm not drunk enough for this fucking show.
All right, have a drink there. Have a drink. We don't need to beat this one to death. It was a good matchup. All right, let's move on to the next score, which is FNG 94, Orlando City FC 87. So you heard me right. FNG with win number 3 over Orlando City. That was kind of a crazy one. Poor Aaron had a lot of guys on bye, and it showed.
I'll always have a special little place in my heart for FNG because not only can I go about and say, I told you so, and everyone maybe doubted me, thought I was crazy. Mark, you gave me the benefit of the doubt. You're like, yeah, maybe that could happen, yeah. But 3 wins this year with a week to go. He could even go to 4 wins, maybe. 4 wins? I'm not saying 4 wins. I'm glad he got 3 wins. What about that freaking Buffalo game? Did that not mess up freaking Orlando City? Like
Yeah.
crazy?
Absolutely, man.
Golly.
The crazy one about this is you take away the scores and you just think about the narrative of what happened, and you think that Aaron won by a ton. Like, he started Kirk Cousins, which was absolutely the right thing to do. Sony
Yes.
Michel scores 20 points. Like he has all these things that went absolutely right for him. And then you look over at F&G side, the narrative there is James Robinson. What the heck's going on with him? Who's starting Mark Ingram right now? Like, all sorts of stuff, and somehow F&G wins. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, you got to look at the counter of those arguments. Like, with every good player that Orlando, he had a top guy not performing. Like, Tyreek Hill, he only had like freaking what?
Yeah, 5 targets.
Yeah, 3 points, 3 fantasy points. Like, how often does that ever happen to him? And that counteracted the overachievers like Sony Michel.
Yeah, there weren't many of you guys that had players in last night's game, but I felt for anyone that was watching that game and hoping for any kind of points. It was just one of those anomalies where the weather was crazy, and what did they pass 3 times? New England passed 3 times, and Buffalo tried to pass, but it just wasn't quite there. Oh,
They passed 30 times and only made 15 completions.
And the one that really got me for A-bomb was Dawson Knox. That dude, if he'd have caught a couple of the balls thrown his way, then we're not talking about him losing to FNG today. And couple of those were end zone targets. Oh, it was every time he dropped the ball, it was just killing me. But I still think the weather had something to do with it. The ball was fluttering, and it was just tough to get a beat on it. I think even what's the name, Diggs for you, Mike. He had that one in the end zone that a lot of times he makes that play, but he's looking one way and he looks the other way and the ball's fluttering, and it's like they couldn't even get his hands on it hardly. So yeah.
I think looking down in the schedule a little bit for the NAO show, Hunter Renfro needs to be in the conversation of waiver pickup of the year because Humpty picked him up, traded him to FNG for a 4th-round pick, and Hunter Renfro is wide receiver 20 in PPR. Wide receiver 20. I think the only other person that might even come close to him in waiver pickup of the year is a guy, Dalton Schultz. I don't know whose team he's on, but I think he's tight end 5. I don't know. Tight end 6. Something like that.
I don't know. He's dropped off.
Somebody's benefiting from that waiver pickup. I forget who it was.
He's dropped off a little bit lately where Renfro's picking it up. So it's going to, it's close between those two. But so was he actually a waiver pickup by Humpty?
Yes, he was.
Wow. I thought he was probably rostered. I mean, he's not a horrible guy. He's worth a stash in a 30-man roster, I would think.
Yeah, it looks like
I didn't realize.
It looks like Hill actually drafted him. Pick 16 round 1. Or round 16.
Ooh, maybe he's not a waiver pickup.
And then
I mean, I thought you were looking at the history. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I saw that Humpty traded him, but I thought it didn't show that he picked him up or what have you. So maybe there was some weird stuff between the difference of the managers.
We'll figure it out, and if we're wrong, we'll hear about it plenty once the show releases and everybody starts listening to it. So
they wouldn't
a lot,
do that,
Sean.
That's why we love our fans.
Yeah.
My counter against Hunter Renfro is he looks like that in his picture on Sleeper. So I don't want
him.
Moving on.
All right. The last score that we have is the Underdogs 105, Swamp Dicks 73. So, the Underdogs have been putting up like a high score every other week. But they had a second kind of down week in a row. But fortunately, they were up against the ghost of Ricky's roster this time. So they got the win. What do you guys want to say about this one?
They played the right quarterback. The DBs did.
Mm-hmm.
And I benefit the whole NAO league because they put up a little poll and we all voted. And then they called us all crazy and went with the people that they wanted to. And it worked out for them.
Yeah, we never did have the Ricky poll, did we? Mike mentioned
I
we
said
should do it for Ricky.
Put it up.
Yeah.
We're definitely missing Ricky's random polls in the chat.
Yeah, he hasn't been as active. Maybe he's busy with the basketball right now, or maybe he just doesn't care now that Henry's out. But it would have been cool to get a poll going for Ricky. Yeah, he's definitely got a tough go of it right now. So, not much to say there. Underdogs squeaked one out, second week in a row with a low score, but they've had the right matchup the last 2 weeks because they won them both. So,
Yeah. Looking down on their bench players, they're getting some pretty good numbers out of players that they made moves for, like Russell Gage. He had 130 yards against Tampa. I mean, Tampa secondary is questionable at best at most times, but that's pretty good points for what they got for him. So they gave up a second and a fourth in 22 for Gage and Williams. That's not Mike Williams, but I don't know who else that would be.
My question is, so it came up in chat that the Underdogs are not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Do we agree with that?
By the definition of mathematically, no. Realistically, fuck yes.
Off the top of my head, I was like, "What? That's not right, is it? That don't sound right." I didn't have time to look into it though. You got something for us?
They would need A-Bomb to sit everybody on his lineup and then play the week, and for them to score like 170 points.
Do you have a Navak nugget for us?
Or tank top thought?
Yeah. So let's assume, right, that the Underdogs have to outscore somebody by 176 points. We decided. So you take the high score ever of 210 points, which Aaron scored earlier this year. So
That
they
he
would
did.
they would have to
New
score
record.
210 to match, and then Aaron would have to score a whole 34 points.
That's plausible.
So like you said, by the definition of mathematically eliminated, the answer's no, I guess. But
Sounds like some of
realistically,
that new math to me. Some of that newfangled math, that fancy math you guys got.
All right, moving on.
Hey, I got the TM on that. Come on now. Get your own show. All right. So that brings us to the Mr. Miyagi ass waxing of the week, which goes to Swamp Dick. So Ricky was nice enough to send me over a little statement here.
We
He
appreciate
said-
that, Ricky.
Oh, we love it when the guys participate fully. He says, if I have to get this award, then I'm happy to do it competing against my good buddy Evan. Just kidding, Evan. You're ugly and your wife dresses you funny. So thank you, Ricky. Thanks for that. Thanks for
Man, can we just take a moment and talk about the fall from grace that is Humpty?
yeah,
This
that's
guy
tough.
was a clear cut for at least one of these spots in the freaking playoffs. But when you lose a guy like Derrick Henry, which was, I mean, not everyone has him on his lead on their lineups, but everyone felt the loss of Derrick Henry throughout the whole league because you can't bank on 22 points every week
Mhm.
like you can when you have Derrick Henry in your lineup.
Yeah, Ricky has lost 6 in a row, right up to now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought he started something like 3-1, 4-1, while I was going 0-5. I know that he was up there at the top and asking me to burn mine down, and it wasn't too much later that he started burning his down.
Well, he made a couple when he was at 4-1. He made a couple good moves to get a couple depth plays with
Yeah.
Michael Carter and everything, and he was definitely playing to make a good run. And I honestly thought he was a good horse to bet on, but
Yeah.
you can't. Derrick Henry was a big hit to take.
Yeah, he asked me a few times, seeing if I wanted to trade with him, but you know me, I was being stubborn and staying put, and so he was working hard on it. I got to give him credit. He was, I don't know, it seemed like he saw that maybe he needed a little extra to push it over the line there, and then of course losing Henry, he went the opposite way with it. So it's been a tough season for him.
There isn't one person you're going to be able to pick up and fill in for Derrick Henry.
No,
You'd have to make like 3 moves to make up the difference, and that's just not. This is not smart business, I think.
Yeah, he's like an extra roster spot. It's like having 11 going against 10. But yeah, that was a big hit for him. I felt for him on that one. That I was thinking about it today. If you look at that franchise, as it were, what do they got? Like 5 wins over 2 seasons. That's been kind of a tough. It's been a rough franchise there from day one.
Yeah,
They are the.
we can blame Jay Hill, R.I.P.
Oh yeah, it's squarely on Jay Hill. That doesn't look a thing like
for drafting a crappy team.
Yeah, that roster doesn't look a thing like Jay Hill's, but still, the franchise is kind of the Jets of the NAO, unfortunately. Better luck next year. All right, let's move on to the matchups, guys. You ready?
Let's do it, Marky Mark. Let's get into this week 14.
Yeah, matchups, standings, playoff implications. Let's do it up here. So the Marky Mark matchup of the week is Marky Mark, aka the Tough Luck Kid, versus Orlando City FC. So Aaron gets his Chubb back. Aaron gets Nick Chubb back. Sorry. Aaron gets Nick Chubb back, along with Hunt, along with Devontae Adams. I'm going to be without Thielen. I might be without Elijah Mitchell. So, more tough luck for me, or do I have a chance, guys? Sean,
Sorry, I'm gonna be a 10-year-old kid and just laugh at your joke. It was hilarious.
John's still
Mike,
laughing.
go ahead.
No.
I need a minute.
Start us off, Mike. Sean needs a moment.
I like this one as the marquee mark matchup. This one has some serious, you win, you're in. If you lose, who cares? Who cares, bowl? Here you come. So, with Aaron scoring or getting a bunch of big names back, we've listed who he gets back. We don't need to do that again. But he gets some big names back. But you're trending up. Kyler Murray's back. You're looking pretty good too. So it's I don't think this one has a clear-cut winner, to be honest with you. I think this one's going to be pretty fun to watch.
I think it's interesting to look at some of these matchups for some of the decisions Avon's going to have to make down the stretch here in the last week of the regular season. Kirk Cousins versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defenses looked soft, And if Thielen comes back and he has a whole gambit of his wide receiver, I don't know if I go to Josh Allen against Tampa Bay. Like I said earlier in the show, Tampa Bay's secondary is suspect, but I don't know. Pittsburgh is worse. What do you think?
I don't know. I'd probably fire up Allen against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I would do that too. Yeah.
He still want he's Cousins taking nothing away from him, but I'd certainly they can still run the ball a lot with Madison. So I think I'd definitely go. Buffalo's not gonna run the ball against Tampa Bay. They don't run the ball much anyway, so gonna be slinging that ball or running it himself. So I feel like Allen can have a big day. That's actually one of the matchups that makes me clench a little bit, shall we say?
I can understand that.
Kyler could do well too, but that's going to be a big part of both of our successes are right there at the quarterback position. So it's a good place to start.
How close is your lineup to being what your start on it?
I think I've got it pretty well set. I know I took Thielen out of there. I had to put Elijah Moore in. I'm worried about Elijah Mitchell. Gosh, I don't know if you guys heard about that, but he came out. The hit looked really bad. Looked like he probably should have been out, but they put him back in the game.
Yeah.
Now they're saying he's in concussion protocol, and they should have taken him out of the game. It almost seems like they're gonna just make him sit one way or another by
Make up
saying
for
he shouldn't
the
have been.
miss.
Yeah. So that definitely hurts. Now if I lose him with Henderson with the quad, is he ready to come back in or not? If he comes back in, does Michelle, share with him? So there's some things going on there. But luckily Javonte looks like maybe he'll have another day with the backfield mostly to himself. So yeah, I may have a little bit of tweaking to do there. I sure would like to know that Elijah was going to be in there, but I would bet against it right now if I had to. So it's definitely and I don't go much deeper than that, unfortunately, because of injuries and other things going on. So,
well, for Orlando City Football Club, you know that he's going to play both of his running backs in Cleveland, which allows him to maybe have good flex play over Knox and play Sony Michel if Henderson is still questionable or not even playing, because he gets Adams back. Him and Adams and Hill will be his wide receivers. Then he push Evans down into the flex, which is a lot better play than Parker was last week.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a better showing this week. Don't bet on him scoring 80 points like he did in week 13.
That's why I started off with the guys coming back, because I know a big reason why last week was down for him was because of the buys.
I actually like the play of Elijah Moore against New Orleans. I don't know if he will get shadowed like a top-end receiver will, so maybe you can sneak in and get some good points there. But if he gets shadowed like Mike Evans does, say, he might have a long day on Sunday.
Yeah, I wish Corey Davis was going to be playing in that game, but he's done for the season, so it's pretty easy to focus on more. Like I say, if with Thielen out, not much choice but to put Moore up in there. Definitely has the upside, but like you say, Lattimore with New Orleans could be a shutdown corner game, and him being a rookie going up against him. We'll have to see what happens there.
How crazy would it be if Elijah has a stellar game against Lattimore? How much of a resume boost would that be?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it. I like the sound of it. Well, it's going to be a good one. So yeah, I guess both of us sitting there at 6 and 7, both of us with high point totals. Keep messing my words up tonight for some reason. We could whoever wins that, if we're a bunch of us at 7 and 6, whoever wins that one's probably going to go into the playoffs. So it's a big one this week.
Not if I have something to say about that.
That's right. Well, let's get on to yours next then. We got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air going up against Tank Top Mike. So yeah, Sean, if you win, you're in, I think. And if you win and Dylan loses, you could be playing Tank Top Mike in the first round of the playoffs. That would be pretty interesting. A loss probably puts me your A-bomb in, and I don't know, lots to unpack here. Let's start it, guys.
Yeah, there's quite a bit going on that one. Yeah, there's, not just on who Sean, if he's in or out, it's on who I get to play the first round of the playoffs too. So, I can make all the jokes I want about I'm already in, so who cares? But I have a reason to go after this one. If I can kind of, hopefully dictate who my week 1 matchup for that. So, but and obviously Sean, you win, you're in. So that's not too terrible either. I'm glad a little bit that I don't have to go against Waddle. Unfortunately, that means good old Evan Engram back in the lineup. So good thing I kept beating you guys away with sticks. Everybody trying to trade for Engram all season. Held on to him. Finally get to play him. But Daniel Jones is actually out. Jake from State Farm is playing. So
he's a good fill-in for Daniel Jones.
I'm hoping he panics all day and just throws the ball straight at Engram because he doesn't know what else to do. But
throw it to that big old body tight end you got in 3-4 yard range.
But yeah, it is kind of a fun one. The whole you and I going against each other in the last one to kind of dictate what goes on in that 4th spot is pretty cool. So. Well, I'm hoping that AK actually comes back. I've really missed him the last 4 weeks. So.
Well, you can speak for yourself because I'm hoping AK does not come back this week, and I hope Swift takes another week to really heal up for the non-playoffs that they're going to be playing for.
So if that happens, that means they're fully rested for round 1 of the playoffs, and then I probably have lost this week, and I'll come at you full strength. Great move. Great boneheaded move.
Well, I'll be in the playoffs. That's all I care about. I got to take one step at a time, all right? This week, you don't get Waddle. You don't get Goddard after a crazy game. You don't get Smith. He's been suspect, but they've been in blowouts 3 of the last 4 games, so they haven't had to throw the ball that much. For me, on my side, I'm going to be Gordon playing against Detroit. I gotta play him. He's my best option. If he doesn't play, I might be looking down the barrel of a guy by the name of Guyton. I don't know if you guys remember, but I did a really bonehead move in the offseason and was watching all these preseason games and got really in love with sent a third to FNG. And FNG, being the astute manager that he is, just accepted it and took it as it is. So maybe that might come back benefit. Who knows? With Keenan Allen being on COVID-19 protocol, he may or may not be back for the game. It's all up in the air. I need guys to go crazy this week to get me in. If I lose, I don't know if there's even a possibility of me making it to the playoffs. So I got to win to get in.
I don't
Yeah.
think so because 7 wins. At 7 wins, you don't have the points to get by me or Avon. I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
Yeah, I
have
think
points
you're,
on
what?
either of you, so
I think you're
one of you
80,
gotta
80
win.
points behind Aaron. So yeah.
Commissioner, what happens if there's a tie?
All ties go to me. I get to go into the playoffs. Now, yeah, I don't know, man. Don't know. Let's hope it doesn't happen. Coin flip, maybe. That'd be the only tiebreaker.
Wouldn't it be?
I get
Head
the
to head.
Doesn't it go to
who
points?
doesn't win.
Points
Maybe
score?
we
Or are
could
you
go-
talking about a tie at points score?
What's that?
Are you talking like a points scored tie?
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah.
the only way there'd be a tie. You know,
So yeah.
wins and points scored would, but we're talking about something that's probably not going to happen here. But
I technically would have more wins than y'all.
I did. I will say, just now that we're talking about ties, there was a tie in my other dynasty league this season. I thought that they would go to the bench points in the event of a tie, like you do in redraft. But apparently they don't do that in dynasty, or it's another sleeper league.
Hmm.
There's actually a tie, and I missed the playoffs by that tie. That guy tied
Get out of here. That
Yeah.
is horrible.
and had one less loss than me, and I've got plenty more points than him. So that was a tough luck kid. I'm gonna change my name to Tough Luck Kid in that league too.
If
All
you
right.
make it to the playoffs, you cannot call yourself the tough luck kid next year. Just so you know.
Well, I can't change the name this year. You don't change.
Obviously, you
Yeah.
can't do that. You can't do
I
that.
know you could argue it's still a little bit of tough luck, right? When you trade for your own first round pick, you shoot up the standings.
Well, that's the Tough Luck 2.0.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
next
exactly.
level
Tough luck
tough luck.
2.0.
It's like well, at least I can play for something. Well, no, I'm probably going to be in the Who Cares Bowl. That'll be my tough luck. So, well, that's going to be an interesting one. So, Sean with the buys and Mike with the injuries. Hey, I was going to ask you guys when we were talking about, is there a chance that Swift is back this week? I thought he was going to be out a little more than a week.
Yeah, they said week to week, and the first
Week
week
to
was
week.
pretty obvious he was going to be out, but it's it's better than they thought.
Okay,
So I might see, he probably won't practice tomorrow because it's Wednesday anyway, but see what happens Thursday. My feeling is he's not going to play, really, but
I had that feeling too, and I'm with you, Mike. If I'm playing for the playoffs, I'd rather have them sit him. Just like my lineup this way, I would have rather had Zeke sit, and I could have started somebody else. But you feel like you got to start him if he's in there, but you almost feel like they would sit him.
Detroit isn't playing for much, but Jamal Williams didn't really have a blow your socks off kind of day without Swift in there. So with Swift being out, who the heck do they have?
But they brought in that dude whose name I can't pronounce, and they threw the ball to him instead of throwing it to Williams. So yeah, everybody was saying, "Oh, Jamal Williams smash play of the week,
yeah.
start of the week," and then man, yeah, he didn't. He got one target, I think, in that game. So, all right, let's go on to our next matchup, which is SillyDilly versus the Underdogs. Yeah, allegedly the Underdogs have a slim chance to make the playoffs. Let's see it. They can't knock Dylan out, but they could play spoiler a little bit in the standings by shuffling it up. What do we think about this one, guys?
I think if I was the Underdogs, I would just set a lineup and hope to God that they lose because Dylan. Remember, NAO fans, this hurts me more than it hurts you. Dylan is clenched playoffs.
Clenched is something you do with the part of your body. He's clinched. Clinched.
Clinched playoffs. Whatever. If I was the Underdogs, I'd want to be in that bottom four playing for first overall pick.
They don't have their first rounder, though.
But do they have their second rounder?
No.
Well, fuck me. All right. On to the next point.
I actually pulled that up to check to see Because, I mean, not that they would put together a lineup to lose on purpose, but, if you're going to win, you're just ruining your draft pick at that point. But, yeah, their only first-round pick next year, SillyDilly.
They got to be happy with their first-round pick. I mean, what is it going to be, like 8th?
Yeah, funny story, I had that pick for a very long time, and people kept coming after it, and I was like, nope, Silly,
Yeah.
he fucking sucks. It's not going to be, and
That was the coveted pick.
yeah, everybody wanted it bad. It was the only for sure top 4 pick, that we knew about. And no.
Well, I mean, anybody with a pulse and any fantasy football IQ knew that SillyDilly was going to be bottom 4,
And then to full circle story, I guess I traded it in the one for Stephon Diggs, who won me the game last night. So there you go.
Glorious, glorious.
Yeah. So I imagine I think the underdogs, they can go 7-7 as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it written down here in front of me, but I'm sure they would love to even things up and go out on the winning, and especially beat a playoff team. I don't know. They seem to be okay with SillyDilly. SillyDilly's made a lot of enemies this season in chat, but underdogs seem to be okay with him for some reason. So
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Know. The other commissioner got real heated once SillyDilly started bad-mouthing the NAO show.
Mm-hmm.
So he might be on the outs with the DBs right now.
Good point.
They also do not like to talk about the Tennessee Titans in any way.
True. That's right. That's right.
I did forget about that. I don't know.
I think the only person that likes SillyDilly in this league right now is and when SillyDilly needed some assistance in the group chat today, Poo Crew kind of was like, he was not to be seen.
Well, I guess I'm thinking about times they seem to take up for him, but you're right. All that Tennessee trash talk. Yeah, he kind of turns on his friends. They seem to be a little sympathetic to the Dillinator, but seems like he turned on him. So maybe that's over with.
Little note to the league: don't talk bad about the NAO show.
Yeah, I love it, man. That was nice. That was good. Our 2 biggest fans taking up for us. Well, one of our biggest fans. I think they're both fans of the show. We appreciate it. All right. Well, let's move on. We've got in the lesser matchups here. We've got Goofy Jace versus FNG. So not much to see here. These teams are going to be both in the bottom 4. They'll be competing in the Miyagi Bowl. Wonder if FNG can get that win number 4.
Ooh, number 4.
It could happen.
I do like Mark Ingram against the Jets. That's a pretty good matchup for FNG. But Goofy Jace, I mean, I think if Hurts comes back, do you start Hurts over Russell Wilson right now?
Oof. I mean, Hurts was the number 1 scoring quarterback at one point, so.
Yeah.
I think if he's back, he's in, yeah.
It's an ankle injury, which could limit the running, but, you got the finger injury with Russell, which limits the passing, kind of tit for tat there. So I might start Jalen Hurts if he gets back.
If I was Goofy Jace, I would put Emmanuel Sanders on the bench and set him there for the rest of the year and put Mike Williams up in. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, if he comes back from the COVID-19 list, he is a vaccinated player, so there is a potential that he could come off that list on Saturday and be a clear go on Sunday. So,
here's a quick observation about Goofy. We talked about his accumulating some picks. So,
does he have picks?
In the first round next year, he has his own pick. So obviously that's going to be a top 4 pick, and he also has rookies. So he has 2 top 4 picks locked up next year already.
Wow, that's awesome.
And he gets J.K. Dobbins coming back, and I hear he's very excited to start Dobbins next year. He was messaging me all day today, just on J.K. Dobbins facts. That's all it was. He's like, if you're coming at J.K. Dobbins, bring your firsts. That's what he told me.
There you
All
have it.
right, some behind the scenes little hazing over here. Thank God, Mike. Appreciate you. All right, moving on there, Mark and Mark. Not to take your TM.
Yeah, gonna have to smack you, man. Have to smack you for that.
Golly. Thank God, Mike is coming at me from the side. Got it. Gotcha. We must be facing this week in the NAO.
But for real
Yeah.
though, jokes aside though, that is pretty impressive by Goofy. I mean, 2 top 4 picks next year. He's got a pretty good team. It's gonna be looking pretty good.
Well, the early showings for 2022 seems like it's going to be a pretty heavy defense draft, I'm being told. With all my connects to the NFL, I have a plethora of people that I like to tap every once in a while to see how the draft class is panning out. But, shoot. He's got 3 first-round picks. I mean, any first-round pick is going to be top. So, and then he's got 2 second-round picks to follow that up. So, he's looking pretty darn good.
Yeah, I think the only counter I have to a defensive draft next year is there's going to be 4 fantasy relevant players coming in the draft next year for sure. So,
Yeah.
if Goofy holds on to those and makes the right picks, it could be a shallow draft, but being that close to the top, he'll snag someone pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And if he does it, FNG will.
Yeah.
If you're getting 2 in the top 4, you're gonna get good players, and it looks like it's shaping up to be another deep receiver class. So those second rounders might even be good if he's got his own and he's picking in the top of the second round again. Then he could definitely come away with maybe three good players to build with. So and he's got a good roster to play in the bottom 4. Yeah, it's not a bad consolation prize if that's what he's got to do. So
I think in the bottom 4, the only team that's going to come close to him is maybe the DBs. If they stay in the bottom 4, they have the potential to be a very tough out in the bottom 4.
Yeah, I think that's who I'd be picking to play for the picks 1 and 2, and there you go. I mean, should be.
A follow-up fun fact: the other two top 4 picks, F and G has those. So
Yeah.
FNG's he's pretty much gonna just pick his players all off the top and just be like, all right, y'all can pick who you want now.
It's gonna be like a kid in a candy store with a $20 bill, man. I'll take one of those. I'll give you that one.
I'll take a little
I
bit
didn't
of
see
that.
that.
Candy.
What you got up there on the top shelf? Give me that too.
Yeah, give me that top shelf candy.
gonna be loving it. All right, let's move on to our last matchup, which is Swamp Dick versus the Pooh Crew. So I did a lot of thinking. I'm thinking of Ricky Smart. He's going to send Ian some gummies. He's going to have him take them in the wee hours of Sunday morning. He's going to start talking lineup with him, He's going to help him set his lineup while he's on the gummies, of course. And then,
Of course.
try to get this done so that Ian doesn't have enough time to recover and fix the lineup before kickoff. I think that's Ricky's best chance to get one last win and stick it to Ian, which I know he'd love to do. What do you think, guys?
I'm going to be watching this one kind of close just because, I tried to put together a team to hang with Ian. It'd be nice to, potentially finish first. If Ian stumbles and loses and I win, I lock it up. So I wanted to hang with Ian. I've been doing it. I just want to finish it strong. So, Ricky, get him in the mail. Get the gummies in the mail for Ian. Let's get this going.
Yes, I would. I love it every week that the Pooh Crew loses. So I too would like the sending of the gummies to Pooh Crew. But Humpty's got a real tough decision to make at running back. His best second option, Myles Gaskin, is on bye week, and then you're looking down his freaking Michael Carter is on the IR. Who the heck else do we have? Foreman. All right, cool. He's Tennessee playing Jacksonville. There's upside there. He had 9 points going into the bye week. Let's go.
Yeah.
But looking over at the Poo Crew side, I hate Saquon Barkley versus the LA Chargers. Chargers have a good defense. They have pretty good stop defense too. Barkley is straight trash, if you ask me. And I think Sleeper is kind of crutching him along with a 15-point projection.
Yeah, I actually think that's a little high for Saquon, considering that they do have to start, not Daniel Jones, so they're going to be even worse. Which means they're going to rely on Saquon a little bit more, maybe. But if your team's not very good, your upside on that is still pretty capped, I think. But and the Chargers are playing for a lot. So
if I was the Chargers, I'd put 8 people in the freaking box and go man to man on the outside and have that whoever's playing quarterback. Maybe Saquon Barkley will play quarterback, and I don't know, and have him beat us throwing the ball. There's no way that running the ball is going to stop us.
Yeah, they've been giving up a lot of points to the running back. They've been more of a pass defense, real good pass defense, try to shut you down that way. Yeah, it's hard to say. There's nobody to worry about in New York. They're all hurt and they're trotting out, their third and fourth string guys, and you got Saquon's probably their best weapon they got. Starting Jake Fromm this week. It could be ugly, but that's probably why Saquon has the projection he does. They did get a lot of targets last week. He's actually looking a little bit better, so he could do a little something. But you're right. He may just concentrate on Saquon and just don't worry about the rest of them, because who are they? I mean, they seem like everybody's hurt there.
Evan Ingram.
There you go. Gonna be an Evan Ingram day. Wide receiver 1.
43 targets.
He'll catch 4.
Yeah, gosh.
The other 39 will bounce off his stone hands.
Rock hands, you know that you got them.
Well, that is the last matchup. I don't have anything else. Do you guys have anything else?
Well, I'm getting
I've got one question.
Let's wrap it up cue
I've got
from
one question.
Mark over there.
No. I just got one. What's your prediction? What's your prediction? We're going into the last week. We just talked about it. What's the call? What's Sean's hot take going into this last one? What is it?
Oh, you're asking me?
We need a hot take. The people have demanded it.
My hot take is that I beat Tank Top Mike in week 14.
That's not a hot take. Give us the real hot take.
That is the hot take. I beat you, and then Orlando City Football Club beats McJammer. And the only reason that McJammer doesn't make it to the playoffs is his win-loss rate. And he was so worried about his freaking points for that it doesn't actually come into play.
I was so worried about it, huh? I wasn't worried about it.
No, Orlando City Football Club, he was worried about his points for.
Oh, he was worried about his. Yeah, I overtook him this week. Got him by 20 now, man. I'm scrapped and clawed my way up there, and that's why I'm going to fall one game short. Be the tough luck kid. Into who cares? Well, I don't know, man. You could, if you win it, then there's doesn't matter what Aaron and I do. So
exactly.
I don't know. I want to see the underdogs beat SillyDilly. That'd be a fun one for me. see him have to go up against his good buddy Ian again because he fell into 4th place. If Sean was to win, so that would be that'd be a fun scenario. You'd have Ian playing his BFF one. You playing your BFF in round 1? No.
Ian and Silly.
Yeah, it works for them. Doesn't work for you guys, but that'd be something. Yeah, you guys would end up playing 2 weeks in a row. That'd be something. That happens every once in a while in the NFL, which is kind of cool when it happens. So that'd be kind of.
That'd be my luck to play the best team in the playoffs in the first round, and then Dylan get the easier matchup against freaking Poo Crew. Lucky me.
What are we gonna do if that happens and he finally gets the voodoo to work and ends up in the championship?
I'm gonna quit the league and sell my team to the highest bidder.
It'll be pretty unbearable. What I'll have to do is say we're dissolving the league, and then I'll go back and get everybody back except SillyDilly. So,
Yeah, I think that's the only logical reaction to that
I don't know.
outcome.
He'd be unbearable for the whole next, until the next season came along.
If you thought Ian, if you thought Poo Crew was bad in the offseason,
yeah,
Dylan in the offseason after winning it, I can't even say it.
I know. Dylan,
Golly, that would be horrible.
Dylan, if you're listening, you may not be, you don't like us anymore. You call us a bunch of corn shuckers, but I'm just kidding. We love
No, we're not kidding.
You'd
I would literally lose my mind if you won the championship.
I would never dissolve the league and not invite you back. Total joke, man. You're still going to be a part of the league moving forward. We just may not like it too much.
Well, I'm going to do my best to win because I'm so extraordinarily humble. The off season will be fantastic for everybody involved. So,
well, if I have anything to say about that, I'm going to not let you win.
Well, as Silly says, why don't you get in the playoffs all the way first?
All right, on that cue, freaking week 13's over. Last week is coming up. Week 14, one last spot for the playoffs. Anything can happen. If you're not Humpty, if you're not FNG, your spot right now could be changed by the end of the season. And if you have not seen the show before, I'm sorry to hear that. But, Poo Crew, you suck.